Today, once again, the conspiracy theorists were right. This time, it's about Hunter Biden. A male steals the championship in collegiate women's swimming. And good news, guys, you may be able to very soon take your COVID vaccine by just breathing in. Oh, yes, it's Friday. We've got all that and more coming up, and it all starts right now. Welcome to the News and Why It Matters. Happy Friday. I am Sarah Gonzalez. I am joined by two good friends. We have Jaco Booyens, BlazeTV contributor and host of The Bottom Line. Also, Alex Stein, Primetime 99, always on the grind.
You got it down.
I
you know it. Yes, wow.
Host of Conspiracy Castle and also Zelensky Stan.
The number one Zelensky stan, and we got to take out Putin any way possible. So,
and we will get into that later on. Trust me. So let's get into this top story here. So if you guys recall, what was this? What was it? October 2020, or was it earlier than that?
A little bit earlier.
That the New York Post ran with the story about Hunter Biden and his laptop. The story was that Hunter took his laptop to some repair shop in Delaware in 2019 and never showed up to return it, which is like the least shocking thing ever. And all of the things that were allegedly on this hard drive, of course, the now president and all of his team dismissed as Russian misinformation. I mean, you heard it time and time again. And now all of a sudden, as it turns out, the New York Times admits that the Hunter Biden laptop was actually real and was true. And there were people who got deplatformed for this. The New York Post themselves got kicked off of Twitter for sharing it.
Right.
Well, it was just true the whole time, guys. In a very long line of wait 6 months when you're told something is wrong and incorrect by the deep state, and 6 months later you will be proven right.
Well, the worst part about it is that we had the photos the whole time. We have photos of him with a meth pipe in bed. I mean, these are like the most personal pictures ever. Him in underwear with his genitals basically showing. I mean, this is like some pretty graphic stuff. We could see it with
text messages.
And text messages.
Yeah.
And we could see it with our own two eyes. And the mainstream media says, oh, that's fake. That's Russian disinformation. So it's just another example of the government taking a tinkle on us and telling it's raining.
Yeah,
well said. I like the tinkle analogy. Look, him with underage girls, him paying $100,000 to madams, to brothels in Russia and the Ukraine. But then let's go to another situation. Rudy Giuliani gets raided.
Yeah.
I was on the phone with him that day.
Wow.
I did an interview with him the day before. His assistant called me and said, hey, they're taking everything. Rudy is begging them to take the hard drives.
Which is what he said on publicly, 100%. And everyone called him a crazy person.
And they called him a crazy person and a conspiracy. And he's literally, they took his watch off his wrist.
They took his law license away.
Okay, yeah. Rudy, but they took his watch, all
they
technology.
Took everything. He's like, please take
these two Hunter Biden drives. They leave the drives, the FBI. Yeah. So think about this. For the New York Times to come out and say, we knew all along this was true, so did the FBI.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
So did the FBI, right? And so this is 100% factual. Everything that was disclosed by those who knew, that saw the hard drives, Rudy and his team, is a little vindication for Mayor Giuliani. The mayor was right, and he told you, and lost his license and was absolutely, land blasted, as some tinfoil hat person. But it's true. And probably a lot more, right? This is only the laptop that we did find. What about cell phones that were destroyed, a.k.a. Hillary fashion, and all the other things? Remember, where there's smoke, there's fire. And we only know now that is true of the little bit that we have collected and have seen. Imagine what else there is under the table and what else this family and the Clinton family has done in the Ukraine, in Russia, etc.
Well, I'm glad that you brought that up because in trying to disclose all of this information, Republicans were trying to get Hunter's travel records as part of a larger review of Biden's use of Secret Service protection and obviously what Hunter is doing, or as Trump likes to say, where's Hunter? And emails from Hunter's laptop confirm that the Secret Service did coordinate Biden's travel, Hunter's travel, during the years for which the Secret Service actually ended up telling Republicans that they could not find any communications in their files. Oh, we don't have any of these files. Nope, none of that exists. And now here we have it from these emails from the laptop. So to your point, Yaku, it's not just what we have. Is there another laptop? Is there another, what do the cell phones say, which I agree with, but it's also, what are they just completely lying about that they do have? They'll just never give us.
Well, look at it. I mean, Joe Biden admits that he did a quid pro quo, basically getting rid of the prime minister or whatever, the president of the Ukraine. And so what I'm saying is we know that they're going to bend the rules in their favor. So you're talking about where there's smoke, there's fire. Trust me, there is so much fire there. And now we're about to be in World War III in the Ukraine. So it's no accident that Hunter Biden's fingerprints are all over it. It's almost like a purposeful controlled demolition of America and of our rights. And Hunter Biden was one of the leaks that is causing a lot of the drama that we're going through now.
Yeah, look, what you would do if you are the New York Times and the FBI, and this is coordinated, you would say, okay, admit to this. Give them something.
Right.
Admit to this. And this is what you do in a law case as well. Okay, we'll submit that evidence for review, but I'm going to hold these sources back. And so there's things that are being omitted that are way more detrimental to our country than what they're willing to admit. Because what they're admitting to now is pretty dang bad, okay? And what they're not admitting to is even worse. And so we have to understand that these people are very strategic. This is not by happenstance. Nothing that we're dealing with in our country is just because they're flippantly throw a pasta against the wall, what sticks. They are ahead of the game. We have done a dismal job as conservatives in this country to play chess. We have not done it. We pivot every 4 years, and then when we win, we go, we won, crap, now what? What do we do, right? And they just don't play that way. They are very nefarious.
Well, to your point, it does. They do give us one thing. They give us the drug use of Hunter. You know, I think it's not a secret anymore. But see, that shows you that there's other stuff that they're not telling us about. Because they'll give us the crack pipe. They'll give us the drugs because they're trying to distract us from the real issues or the real, sinister stuff that he's done.
Well, and it gives them a good opportunity to try to make him into, he's just a victim of his own addiction.
Exactly.
Right, which is what we've heard from them.
To build empathy and sympathy. And it's also coming at an age and an era where drug use is more tolerated. You've got legalization of illicit drugs. And so it's like, hey, bleed this out. They can swallow that. They won't rise up against that. But the other things, and remember, you cannot, as the President of the United States or the family of the United States, you cannot do anything without Secret Service.
Of course not.
Bill Clinton literally intentionally evaded Secret Service with Jeffrey Epstein to make it to Epstein Island, right? You have to go through a lot of loopholes to evade Secret Service. They know where he was. They know the name of the prostitutes he slept with.
Of course.
It's in the Ukraine. They know it all. They've got pictures of it all. Right? And so they are giving us just a little bit. This is so bad. And not just that family. I mean, so many of those families.
Well, you said the Clintons. I mean, you're talking about the Lolita Express. We know Bill Clinton was on that 26 times. And then you just look at the acquaintances of Jeffrey Epstein, who is a known child predator. So these people are tied in with some of the worst, lowest scum of the earth. And these are the top politicians in the world. So it shows you they have huge skeletons in their closet. And they give us the Hunter Biden crack pipe just to distract us from the real sinister stuff, like I just said, that's actually happening behind closed doors.
It's just very frustrating because, it's not only our leaders who are doing nefarious things or their families who are doing nefarious things behind closed doors that we don't get to find out about, but it's also all of the misinformation that they are presenting, especially the last 2 years. They wear your mask because it's going to protect you from all of these things. Stay 6 feet away because we've just picked this arbitrary number that we're going to tell you means something, but actually doesn't. There's a vaccine that is going to prevent you from getting COVID. It's just all of these things that anytime that you might not even say, I don't believe you. You'd say, can I get some more information on that? Can you show me where the data is for that? You would get kicked off. You would get called a conspiracy theorist. You would get called all of these things, which Alex may enjoy being called that. He may enjoy being called that. Yes. But I mean, it's just like it's hard because how do you combat all of this knowing all of these things are coming out that you know are right, that the New York Post knew, they had sourced, they had vetted, they knew was correct. But you get, I mean, how else do you get the message out? Because you got to put it through big tech, but big tech's in on the whole freaking thing.
They are in on the whole thing. And what you're saying is this. We have evidence of him doing X, hard evidence, they dismiss it.
Right.
They have no evidence, and we can't ask them for any evidence of what they present, mask, vaccine, the whole deal. I've come to this conclusion. Our country is run like Gotham City.
Basically, yeah.
And it's infiltrated. It's run like Gotham City. It's infiltrated. It is, but there is a remnant.
Yeah.
There's still a remnant in the blue, and even in the FBI, and in education, and in the church, and in big tech. There is a remnant of people, and this is that rise up call of the remnant saying, hey, if you're in your company and you're the only one, then let it rip, man. This is the moment to stand up and really, people will follow. Mm-hmm. Because what I find, Sarah, the conversations people are having at their barbecue and with their friends in their homes, they're not having in the public.
Yeah.
They want us to have it.
Right.
Here, and then they go, I agree with you in an echo chamber. And we are guilty also on the right of living in an echo chamber. Now, you go have these conversations in public. Mm-hmm. You go take a little risk as well.
Yeah, that's a great point.
How much risk are you taking every day? Are we taking every day? Go take the risk and go have these conversations socially. And you're going to see more people agree than disagree, but they need courage
Well, and I want
to actually step up.
And I want to say this one thing, though. This is the problem with the technocracy, is that they're going to have, the New York Post is going to have clear evidence that all of this was real, and they're going to censor them off the internet. But yet, they even admit on YouTube, you can talk about killing Putin. They can decide the narrative. You can talk all you want about killing Putin, because some fat cat in a computer says, oh, well, we're going to approve of this. We're Twitter, we're YouTube, we approve of you talking about this, but if you talk about Hunter Biden and you expose the actual truth, no, that doesn't play by our rules. So it's the censorship, really, we should also, other than the bad stuff that Hunter Biden has done, the fact that even an outlet like the New York Post has been a paper for nearly 100 years, I believe, getting censored, like you and I get censored, it shows you that all of the mainstream media is basically fake. You
know what else it shows you? It shows you either the mainstream media thinks that Americans are incredibly stupid, and our leaders think that Americans are incredibly stupid, or maybe they just are. I don't know what the answer is. But to say that this is, like Alex, as you pointed out, there were pictures that surfaced from all of this laptop business. They still were like, it's Russian misinformation. No, these are literal. How do you think we got the pictures? What do you mean this is Russian misinformation? And I don't know. Did people go, wait, how is that Russian misinformation? We're seeing it right here. Right. It's like, is this a deep fake? You never really say.
Sarah, I have the answer. Sadly, you can look this up. A&W, they're actually in the hamburger business, but in the 80s, they wanted to compete with McDonald's. So they did a nationwide market research survey, and they asked people what they thought was a better value. The Quarter Pounder burger for $3.99 or a Fourth Pounder burger. And overwhelmingly, people didn't realize that a fourth was less than a third. Overwhelmingly in America, you can look this up. This shows you that human beings, Americans, we're not that smart. We can't even do a simple fraction of what is bigger, 1/3 or 1/4. So that's really sad. That's what we're dealing with.
That is really sad. Mm-hmm. Oh gosh.
Look it up. You don't believe it? Look it up. A&W Market Research Survey.
Yeah, kids today in school think chicken come from the store as well. They don't know it's an animal on a farm. So
that's fair.
We have a problem.
That's fair. I hated to break it though to my son whenever he was really, really little. He's like, wait, this chicken that I'm eating is the same as that chicken that I saw at the petting zoo, and I was like,
see what I did is I'm from Africa, man. What I do is we go out, we grab the chicken.
Yeah. Oh.
I'm a vegetarian.
Yeah.
No.
How do you do it?
You just gave Alex nightmares.
Hey, Bessie, who walked in the field. It goes to the slaughterhouse.
Oh, my gosh.
I'll have her milk, but I don't need her leg. I don't want you to cut off her leg. But honestly, I have to buy meat. I have cats, so I'm not anti-meat. But, I'm a hypocrite when it comes to that.
You are a very, very bizarre human being.
I am. I'm a soy boy. Yeah, I'm all soy, no meat. And that's a spiritual thing. This is why, though, because real quick, let's get
Are you all soy? It's not healthy.
I'm not all soy. No, I'm kidding. I don't really eat that much soy or tofu, really. But this is.
Do you have a Built Bar commercial today? Give him Built Bar.
Well, let me just say this one thing. This is one of the reasons why I stopped eating meat. So this is the conspiracy tinfoil hat, as they say that all these elites like adrenochrome, they adrenalize blood of children. Whether you believe that or not, whatever. But when these cows die, their blood is adrenalized because they're watching their friends die.
Adrenochrome is real.
That's what I'm saying. I believe that, but somebody watching this might not. So what I'm saying is when you have that cow and it watches its buddy die, it's getting that same adrenalized blood. So you're eating cow adrenochrome. Obviously, you know, you could argue with me about that, but that's just how I feel. So when I realized that, that's one of the reasons I stopped eating meat. But I'm a weirdo, so.
I bet you missed that steak, though.
No, I don't. Honestly, I don't, because I think it's some cow's leg. No, I don't miss it at all.
We've taken a turn for the worse, guys. Let's go ahead and thank our sponsor, and then we'll be back with more news. We want to thank our sponsor, Novo. So you are, making something new when you decide to create a new business, and to support you, Novo built a new kind of business checking. They are a very simple but very powerful business checking, and unlike the traditional banking model, Novo has no minimum balances, no transaction limits, no hidden fees, and they're very customized. A lot of the other places are going to give you this one-size-fits-all approach. They're going to customize to fit your business, to save you time and free up cash flow. They've got seamless integrations to Stripe, Shopify, QuickBooks, online, and much more. You got to sign up for Novo for free. You can join the community of over 150,000 fearless small businesses who have found the customizable business checking solution that admires their brave. Sign up. Again, it's a free business checking account. You don't have anything to lose. You can go to novo.co/y. You're also going to get access, because you are a viewer of the show, to over 5,000 in perks and discounts. So you got to go there, Novo, novo.co/y. That is novo.co/y. Just to let you know, Novo Platform Inc. is a fintech, not a banking system. Banking services are provided by Middlesex Federal Savings, FA, member FDIC. Terms and conditions apply. I want to give a quick shout out to University of Virginia's Emma Wyant, who is actually the real winner of the NCAA Women's Swimming Championship 500-yard freestyle because, of course, as we know, Lia Thomas cheated. And no surprise, I think, to anyone watching this show and to either of these gentlemen at the table, that when a biological male competes against women in a sport, particularly swimming with this case, that biological man has biological advantages and will, in fact, win when that happens. So I guess second is the new first. So congratulations to Emma. We have actually reached out. We would love to have her on the show. We are trying to contact her so that we can try to make that happen, just to give her the congratulations that she deserves. But I want to play for you. Let me play for you, actually, Lia Thomas being interviewed by ESPN after he cheated and beat a bunch of females. And you know what? I'll get into my thoughts afterwards, and I want to hear from you guys, gentlemen. But it just blows my mind that so many people showed up for this, including the swimmers. Like, why let this guy do this to you? Why are you showing up and watching it happen? Don't go. Let him swim by himself. Watch.
Mm-hmm. Lia, how did that performance measure up to your expectations coming into this meet tonight?
I didn't have a whole lot of expectations for this meet. I was just happy to be here, trying to race and compete as best as I could.
You've undoubtedly been under the spotlight over the past few months. How have you been dealing with that and reasoning with everything?
I try to ignore it as much as I can. I try to focus on my swimming, what I need to do to get ready for my races, and just
She's
try
like
to
a
block
modern
out
day
everything
Pamela
else.
Anderson.
What did that race mean to you?
It means the world to be here, be with two of my best friends and teammates, and be able to compete.
Thank you for stopping by.
Thank you so much.
Adorable. I want to show the picture of this man next to there it is.
It's a beautiful lady.
That's a man, baby. So the females huddled together like, yep, we're proud of ourselves. I don't know what that guy is doing over there, because maybe he didn't get the memo that this was a women's meet. But here you have it, and of course being celebrated by all of the usual suspects. I feel so bad for these women who trained so hard and so long, but then, like I said, it just makes you wonder, why are they even still showing up?
Well, to that point, I think University of Texas is filing a lawsuit because this is a Title IX violation. You got to look at these women should not have to compete against biological men. I mean, and maybe create his own division. I don't know how you fix it. I think that's been, somebody have suggested that. But at the end of the day, when you look at it's a real travesty for number 2, but also only the top 16 qualifiers get to go. So that 17th qualifier worked every single day of her life in the pool, and she didn't even get to compete in the championship. So really, not just the second place, but it all trickles down. So Lia Thomas affects the whole entire swimming pool, and you made a good point. They should protest, but at the end of the day, they're worried about looking bad to the media. They would say, oh my gosh, these girls quit. Oh, you're transphobic. You're a bad person. So they're really in between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah, well, maybe they need their parents to speak up for them, because Lord knows I'd be up there if it were my kid.
That's right. Where are the parents, and where's the balls in this whole situation?
Well, I
in the
think
pool,
we know where
and they're in the swimming pool.
we know where the balls are.
Where are the dads? Where are the dads of these girls stepping up? This touches so many different things. And this is one guy, but it sets a precedent. It's going to trickle all the way down to high school. It affects college scholarships. It's got massive ramifications. And unfortunately or unfortunately, it's going to take some girls saying, all right, all NCAA schools, you want to have a women's swim team? You can have one guy. Take him. Go win the NCAAs with one guy scoring points for you, because we're not scoring points for you. And they live and die by scoring points, because that's where they get money. Okay? And so hurt the school. I'm asking these swimmers, go hurt the school. And you hurt them by not scoring points. Let him go score. He can't score all the points himself, so go score points, even if you win every day. And then another thing, just for me, with no cameras, but just a couple people, let's do a swim off. Let's take the NCAA male winner and absolutely embarrass and annihilate this dude. Yeah. Swim him literally under the pool and make him feel as small as he's making these girls feel that work their tails off. I got zero tolerance for a guy like this. This is a coward. That is what a coward looks like. That's what a coward sounds like, with some timbre in his voice and an Adam's apple and two very little tiny peas in the bottom.
That small. You can see into the swimsuit. They weren't that small. No, I mean, you just really look at this situation.
You can see them through the swimsuit when he's participating in a women's swimming competition. Like,
yeah, we're in the upside down world. I mean, it really is. And you said it trickles down. There's only going to be more trans swimmers. There's only going to be more of this. And it's just really not fair to the women that are competing against using their biological sex.
Well, I mean, also, Yaku, you mentioned I'd like to see a swim off of him and the top competing male. I mean, he did swim as a male, and he was horrible.
He couldn't get anywhere.
No, of course he couldn't. And it's like, I see now why you're trans.
I did the comparison the other day, and here's what it basically breaks down to. When he broke the record, when he broke the women's record, the guy broke the women's record, if he was swimming against the men, they would have finished the race before he made the turn for the last lap. Even with the record broken. That is how weak a swimmer he is in his gender. He doesn't surface. He couldn't get a lifeguard job in a remote beach in the middle of Tahiti, okay? Nowhere. This guy could not swim for nothing when it's against men. So it's abuse. It's abuse, but unfortunately, it will not stop until you say we're done. And so it's going to take some girls being made fun of. It's going to take some girls standing up and saying, screw it, school, you're on your own. And not just one team, but the community. But they're so afraid of their feelings getting hurt and not being liked on social media. And what is politically correct? Political correctness belongs in the toilet.
Well, I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. The reason why Lia Thomas feels entitled to do this, because Lia Thomas in her Sports Illustrated article said she identifies as a swimmer first. So if you're a swimmer, you want to win at all costs.
So go swim against dolphins.
Well, you can say that, but what I'm saying, it's not an excuse for her actions or his actions. But in their mind, as an athlete, as a competitor, you probably would go in the division where you could win the most. I mean, so because Lia identifies as a swimmer.
If you have no other values or morals, right?
You're just going to you're an opportunist. So Lia's an opportunist, but it's the sad people that have to suffer. These women that, like I said, spent their whole entire life in a pool, make it to the top level, to the NCAA championships, and are robbed of that first place trophy by a person that's been a female for less than 2 years.
But Alex, you know what's worse? When a human being is suffering, and they really don't know up from down. Let's take a drug addict, okay? And you go, that's a drug addict, terrible, terrible. That's bad choices. But the people around the addict that enables him to be an addict is worse. that's worse. Because the addict is literally upside down. So let's say Lia is just so desperate for attention. Okay, that's amazing. The people around the conversation that is perpetuating it, right? They do more damage to the other girls and so much. So take some accountability as a society and say, we as a society allow this crap to happen.
No, you're 100% right. On the show Intervention, it's always, they have to have interventions for the family because the families are the enablers. So this is being enabled by the media, by the school, and by, society, sadly.
Yeah, I tweeted about, I tweeted the other day, I'm not anti-trans, I'm just pro-science. And someone was, coming at me with the typical, you're just a transphobic and all that. And they said, how dare you not recognize that gender dysphoria is a real thing? And I'm like, no, that's where you've got me wrong.
Absolutely.
I do believe it's a real thing.
Absolutely.
The problem is that it's a mental illness as categorized in the DSM way back when, before they decided to be politically correct as well. It is a mental illness, and with other mental illnesses and this one, you don't go, hey, you should just totally be crazy and we're just going to completely enable it. You can't enable the behavior. You can't enable it. You have to get them actual help instead of just accepting it. And it's very hard for me to understand how they don't connect those dots.
Well, look at who's the Times Women of the Year. It's Rachel Levine. It's Lia Thomas. So now the Women of the Year aren't even women. And this is a joke. I'm stealing this joke, but it's like Caitlyn Jenner won Woman of the Year, and she wasn't even a woman for an entire year. So that's where we're at. We're putting these people on a pedestal, and we're enabling them to do this.
Do you guys wonder? I know we have to go to break in a second, but do you guys ever wonder maybe this is what it's taking for the pendulum to just swing back the other way? I guess I'm just trying to be an optimist here. It has to get worse before it gets better, and that's what it's going to take for all of these parents to recognize, you guys are doing this to our children, to our girls, and we're done with it. Because I feel like this is happening in so many different aspects of our country right now, and it just gets so radical, and then people, particularly parents, step back and go, we can't allow this to happen anymore. So I wonder if this is just what it's taking for us to get back on track.
There's a little example. You look at Bill Maher. Now they're kind of canceling him because he said a 3-year-old shouldn't pick their sex. And now they're kind of trying to cancel him. And he's the biggest left-leaning liberal there ever was. Not ever, but you know what I mean. He's been a champion of liberal agenda. And so now even he is not liberal enough. So I do think the pendulum, like you said, is swinging when guys like Bill Maher are getting railroaded.
No, this is what it's going to take, unfortunately. Tough times create strong men, good times, weak men. We understand that. Talking science, though, you swing a pendulum, that pendulum, when it reaches critical mass at one point, it doesn't stop at center. It swings all the way in the other direction. And that's the challenge. When you allow the pendulum to go so far out of whack, when you correct, you typically don't arrive at balance, which is healthy for society. You arrive at, and now all of a sudden you breed hatred. You breed division, because it swings from one extreme to the other extreme. It's very difficult to make that pendulum come back and hold it in balance, in truth, in a healthy balance of society based on constitutional Judeo-Christian values. It swings the other way, and now you play the game. It's tit for tat, and it's a difficult conversation because you're breeding hatred. You're breeding hatred in young girls who work hard. It's envy and it's bitterness, and so when that thing swings back, then they're going to complain, well, now where's our fair share? But you did this. You pushed it so far to the limit, and it will come back.
Yeah.
They call that an overcorrection, and it doesn't fix the problem. So the pendulum is swinging, but you're right. When it swings, it's not going to meet in the middle.
Yeah. All right. We've got more to come, but first we want to thank our sponsor, Bonner Private Wines. So you guys know me as the health nut here at The Blaze, and you also know me as the wino. Well, what you might not know about wine, if you are also a wino, is that if you are buying your wine from all of these grocery stores, you don't realize what is actually in that wine. You've got oak flavoring, which sounds really awesome. They've got purple dyes. They've got a bunch of additives and chemicals and a bunch of sugar. And of course, that's not counting all the chemicals left over from the vineyards that look more like oil refineries than the great chateaus of old. So if you're buying your wine from the grocery store, stop doing that. Don't do that. You don't want that wine. There is much better wine to be had, and it's also not going to cost you an arm and a leg. This is Bonner wines. So Bonner does it a little bit differently. They grow their grapes at these very, very high vineyards. They're very, very high up, high altitude, and you may not realize what a difference that makes with the taste of the grape, but it just produces the most delicious wine. Yaku does not drink, but he has bought this for his friends who do, and they gave rave reviews.
I bought this for, one of them is a level 5 sommelier, if you understand. That's the highest, level 4, level 5, and they love it. They absolutely love it.
Yeah.
And
So-
you got to make this point though: the finer the wine, the less the hangover. So
That's so true.
That's why you don't want to drink that.
Which I don't
cheap,
know anything about.
Well,
but
I'm saying,
I believe you.
But that,
Well, I might. All right.
That cheap grocery store wine will give you a bad hangover. So when you have a wine that's sourced properly,
Yes.
like you said, in the high altitude with the good grapes, you're going to have less of the toxins in the wine and less of a hangover.
Yes, amen to that. So make sure to go get you some. All right, you can get these rare wines at half the retail price. You don't need a promo code at all. You're going to get 50% off the shipping. You can go to bonnerprivatewines.com/y. Don't sleep on it because they run out all the time. Go there, bonnerprivatewines.com/y. Well, you may have thought that you were done hearing from Dr. Anthony Fauci, but he is trying so hard to stay relevant. He actually emerged from his silence to insist that there is a new variant of, there could be a new variant of the COVID-19 virus. And look, we can't just say we're done, all right? He is he's clinging to the branch that's broken off the tree and there's like one single solitary piece left. And he's like, please don't quit me. I'm still here. Here's Anthony Fauci yesterday.
We have to be able to pivot and go back to any degree of mitigation that is commensurate with what the situation is. So we can't just say we're done. Now we're going to move on. We've got to be able to be flexible because we're dealing with a dynamic situation. Hopefully, the cases will continue to come down as the weather gets warmer. The risk of being indoor is less, and we'll do well, at least for the coming several months. But the one thing that's important, that's a wild card in this, is that there is waning immunity. And we got to make sure that those people who've been vaccinated get boosted. Only about 50% of the people who are eligible to be vaccinated have gotten their boost.
It's like he's like some creepy ex-boyfriend who keeps texting you and you're like, I already said we're done. We're really done. And he's like, but what about, but you left a shirt at my house. Maybe I should bring it back to you. And you're like, no, you can just keep the shirt. I don't really want to know what you're going to do with it either, but please just leave me alone. No, but please. By the way, just to throw into this conversation, there are scientists who are over at Penn State University who have been working on an inhalable COVID vaccine. Thank goodness. So now if you have a fear of needles, you can still make sure that you are protected from, as we know, the most deadly virus of all time. And they say they've given it to mice, and they were very happy with the response in the mice. And by the way, if that's not good enough, vaccinologists have also looked at putting the technology into digestive pills.
Wow.
Yeah.
The only person, I got to say this, the only person that hates Vladimir Zelensky more than Putin is Anthony Fauci, because Putin's stealing all of his shine now with this World War III. So notice they bring him right back out right when the FDA is starting to approve the 4th booster. So it's not an accident. He's up there talking about boosters. And this is the one thing, what he said is like the cases are going to be mild. I don't believe a word he says, so now I'm worried the cases might be intense because you can't really trust Anthony Fauci.
Yeah, you're like, wait, when have you ever admitted that the cases were going to be mild?
Yeah, he's never said that.
Psyop.
I've never heard him say that. He's always said it's going to be terrible, it's going to be terrible, it's going to be terrible. So
that's a great point.
The fact that he says it's going to be mild, I'm like, wow, that's kind of gives me a little bit of hesitation.
That's a great point. Yaku, you should be very excited because previously you were very averse to the COVID vaccine, but now you can just
breathe it.
I mean, you have to breathe anyway, right?
Who are we talking about?
What do you mean who? Anthony Fauci?
Who?
Oh, well, unfortunately, just the highest paid federal employee.
That's memory.
Yeah.
That guy gets none of my time anymore.
It is fascinating to see that CNN even planned for that in their show.
Yeah.
That they even allotted him any time to step on it.
I mean,
it's the 4th booster.
Well, it's the.
that's
but
fair.
the calls are coming. Like, hey, you got to ride this wave. The stocks. Quarterly reports are coming. First quarter reports coming. The Pfizer CEOs are going to answer. First quarter report's coming. You got to keep it up, buddy. And everybody should be over it as an over it.
Yeah, I love that he's like, no, you can't just say you're done. You can't just say that. Like, no, we said it, bro. We said it a long time ago.
Well, it's
You
not,
painted a really, really accurate picture about creepy boyfriends.
he is the
Was
creepy
there one
boyfriend.
in your past?
A couple, probably,
I've
but
had several. I've had several.
Well, thank God, literally for Steven.
Yeah.
Well, Tony Fauci, this is the problem, though, is we've idolized him. We've put him on such a high pedestal. And then now you see it's the same thing with Vladimir Zelensky, too. It's just kind of weird. It's how we have these manufactured idols. And I think Tony Fauci, not seeing him made me feel so good. So him coming back, now I'm starting to have PTSD.
Yeah, I know.
Because when I see Tony Fauci and he talks like that and he's on the cover of Cosmopolitan magazine or whatever, it makes me sick.
Wasn't he like sexiest man of the
He
year?
was voted sexiest man of the year. I mean, it's just they're mocking us. He just sits there and listen, the way he handled the AIDS epidemic was terrible, giving people AZT.
Hey, I was there in Africa, we know. But don't let this guy have any access to your life or your psyche. This guy was a weasel in the beginning, he's still a weasel.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but he is, you say who, and I agree with your sentiment.
Yeah.
He is the highest paid federal employee.
I know. And that is nauseating
Yeah.
to know that we paid that man to kill people.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Alex, you are the resident conspiracy theorist. So what are your thoughts on like this new technology of vaccines?
Oh.
We're just going to make them available to just breathe in the air, and whenever you just breathe it all up, and we're just going to make it a digestive pill. And I know there's been talk about like, well, we'll just put it in your food supply.
Well, exactly. I mean, they're going to pick out any avenue to administer it. So that's the problem is they could, give you my tinfoil hat, they could put it in the water. They could put it in any sort of food, any genetically modified food.
Vape.
Yeah, the vape. So now that they're making it where people that aren't afraid, people that are afraid of needles, like I need to breathe it in. But the technology is going to be used for more sinister issues. It's not just going to be for the person that, willy-nilly, I'm going to suck on something and get the vaccine. No, it's going to be a way that they can administer it to us without us knowing.
Called misting.
Oh, so you're going to put on your tinfoil hat too as well.
It's not a tinfoil hat. They do it already. It's called misting.
I know.
And so you can mist this room if you want to, and you can blow it into any environment. And look,
Please don't. No.
Bioterror.
Actually, don't do that.
No, all we do here is blow cold air into this room.
Oh my
That's
gosh,
what we do.
you're not kidding.
I blow some hot air out of my lips, but I could.
No, look, bioterror is real, cyber terror is real. Those are the two things we really need to pay attention to because they want us to look at other things. They want us to look at Ukraine. They want us to, and yes, of course, people are losing their lives, and that's absolutely terrible.
Very sad.
But there are other things happening. It's always, and as a shiny object, true or false, this time a real issue, they are moving. They're moving with other things. And so we need to really cyber and bio. And so when you start, look, it's an experiment. Everything they do is an experiment, right? So if they are going to do this, trust me, they will take that tech, just like AI and anything else, and reverse engineer it, somehow harm humanity with it.
Yeah. You mentioned Ukraine just now. You know what? Let's go ahead and take a break. And then I want to get to, I said at the beginning, Zelensky stand right here. I want to get to that when we return. We'll be back.
Now you want to add something? What? You're like, now. I don't know.
So we've heard this week, Joe Biden call Putin a war criminal, and then we've heard Jen Psaki walk it back, and then we've heard the Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, come out and say he does agree with Biden, that he does believe that Putin is a war criminal. There's someone else who agrees with that assessment, and it is Alex Stein over here, who recently went to the city of Plano. This is where I grew up, by the way. It was a Plano... what was it? City council meeting?
100%.
City council meeting, and he was he found an interesting way to verbalize, just kind of sum up everything that's going on right now. Watch.
It's a Vladimir Putin diss track.
Vladimir Zelensky, you are so smart. What's the smell? Did somebody fart? No, what? What can you say? Vaccinate me straight or gay. I love you.
I love the people behind you.
Grind
I'll tell you a funny
grind
story
all the
about
time.
that.
And you got that sanitizer. And you know I got that Pfizer. You know I stick it in my vein. Put a bullet in Putin's brain. Do it for the Ukraine. Before I go insane, let me antibacterial my body at the party. Sipping Bacardi. You know the flow. And I am a pimp. cause I am on the blim. Eating lots of steak and shrimp. One more time, I'm 99. And you know I'm grinding shine. Gas prices way too high. Vladimir Putin needs to die. Gas prices way too high. Vladimir needs to die. I'm the truth and the book.
It's 7 million views
Take
now
my
on
picture.
Twitter.
I'm a winner. I'ma eat you for dinner. Okay.
You want to go to?
I just want to say,
I love you. We need to take out Vladimir Putin, like Lindsey Graham said. Thank you, Mayor Mullins. I appreciate the time. Peace. God bless you all.
I can't.
Primetime Stein on Instagram. Thank you.
I love you got that in.
Yeah, well, you got to
And then
plug.
he does the plug, prime time Stein.
Always.
You always have to
be
be
closing.
plugging. You always have to be plugging. But like, you know, we watched that video, and that was one of the motivations was Lindsey Graham and the Technocracy saying, "Oh, we can say we want to kill Russians, we want to kill Russians," and I just want to put a mirror to that. Like that was literally my motivation. Is like, wait, so I can go on the internet and I can say I want to kill Vladimir Putin, and that's fine.
Right.
Well, let's see how much I can say I want to kill Vladimir Putin. And like, I had no idea. It's gotten tens of millions of views total with all the other people that shared it. Chance the Rapper and Shaquille O'Neal both shared that video. So for me, now there's going to be more raps because people don't like being told the news. They want it. They want some sugar to help the medicine go down. And for me, this is just me mocking the mainstream media. And listen, I don't like Vladimir Putin, but I don't really want to go shoot him in the head.
Well, you were making a point.
Of course,
Yeah,
trying to
Through
show
satire.
the absurdity of the mainstream media. Because we do need to have some diplomacy. I think Lindsey Graham saying we need to kill Putin, of course we need to take out Russia, but it's just not very diplomatic to say it in that way.
Well, and so what about Blinken with his recent comments agreeing with Joe Biden's not original assessment, because first he said no, and then he circled back around and then said yes, and then Jen Psaki walked it back, and now Blinken's like, no, actually, Biden was right when he said that he is a war criminal.
Yeah, I mean, Putin is not a good guy. Journalists that speak out against him in his country, they murder him. So we know that Putin is not a good guy at the end of the day. I think that's just, everybody accepts that.
So, and I don't disagree with you, but to have a head of state making such an inflammatory comment when you're saying that you want to not be involved in a war, doesn't feel like those are really connecting. We've got about 30 seconds.
Yeah, there's a higher responsibility on a head of state, and just like you can't say take out a head of state because once you do that, we made fun, but once you do that, it's war, because now all of a sudden you open it up for them to say, okay, well, let's take out your head of state, and now it's anarchy, right? And there's rules of engagement and rules of war, and when you break those, now you can start having the conversation. But it was absolutely reckless by Joe Biden to say that, unless we know, and if we do, and you say it, then you better back it up.
Prepared to back it up.
And they
do not say it if you can't back it up.
Yeah.
And he does not have the spine to back, nor do we want that kind of a situation on our hands.
Last word.
And they want World War III. That's why they're doing it, because they do. The military-industrial complex just got out of a 20-year war in the Middle East. This is next on their plate. They want to eat. They want to sell tanks. They want to go to war.
Certainly what it sounds like. All right, we got to take a break. We'll be back. All right, Alex, you said that I mentioned the people behind you
in
the video.
So you guys we're not looking at the picture, but the people behind me, they sent me a message. They had actually ordered, they were huge fans of mine. They'd been watching my show the night before, and I said I was going to go to the Plano City Council. And I'm so mad they didn't say anything to me at the meeting. They went to actually go watch me. So they're my first.
Way.
Yes, they were fans of the show, and they just went there. It's Becky and Brandon. So if you guys are watching this, and they sat down there on purpose, and I'm so mad they didn't say anything to me after, but they were actually fans because I had teased it on the show before that I'm going to the Plano City Council, and they were there to watch me.
That is so funny.
Well, maybe the shock and awe in person was just too much to bear for them. They couldn't speak.
Well, she couldn't. They didn't want to laugh. I said, "Well,
she's laughing."
Yeah, I know. But I said,
how can you not?
Well, and I said, "Why are you holding back your laugh?" Look, she goes, "We didn't want to blow your cover." That's how sweet they are. So, Becky, Brandon, if you're watching this, I appreciate your support. And they said they're coming to more meetings. So now, guys, next week I think I'm going to Prosper and Allen, I believe. So I'll give you guys a heads up if you guys want to come see Primetime 99 live.
And they can't like tell you you're not allowed, I guess.
Well, as long as I sign up and as long as you don't say anything, cursing or, anything, they can cut you off. But see, I troll the Zoom meetings, they can kick you out in 2 seconds.
Right.
But if you're here in person, you've shown up, they're going to give you your 3 minutes to speak. That's
you would think.
If they give you that,
Well, again, as long as you're not being defamatory or
I mean, if you go up there and you start saying
you just talk about shooting someone in the brain.
Yeah, well, that's
totally
fine. That's
Putin.
7 million views.
That's totally fine.
Ridiculous.
All right, make sure to follow these two gentlemen. The Bottom Line, Conspiracy Castle, Alex Stein, Jakob Williams. Thank you, guys.